Do we need to do a sound check? You want to see how everyone sounds? Hopefully I sound better than I did last time.
You sound good, yeah.
Better than I did last time?
Well, last time weren't you laying on your bed or something?
Yeah, it was in my bedroom.
It was much more relaxed.
Call the coach. Call the coach.
What's up, my favorite Canucks?
Welcome to the Deadzone Podcast. Deadzone is the sci-fi tabletop miniature skirmish game from Mantic Games. And now, here are your hosts Rob Harper and Jack Pike. I am your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen.
Welcome to the 49th episode of Deadzone the Podcast for early February 2016. In this episode, we have Coach on for the first of a two-parter, getting the last word on the Deadzone Redux beta. As always, you can go to deadzonegame.podbean.com for the audio version, or you can go to youtube.com/c/Deadzone the Podcast for the video version of the show. And now on to the episode. Welcome to episode 49 of Deadzone the Podcast. It's a very special episode. We have Coach from Family Gamer 777 on YouTube, and Jack, and we're here to talk about Deadzone Redux, the final word on the beta, I think, guys, right?
Yeah, I think so. This is apparently the last beta before the actual alpha comes in infestation, so...
Yeah, we're all hoping that this is it because we've been playing in 7 different rule sets, so hopefully this is it because, I know we're going to discuss it, but where we're at now is a real comfortable place, so hopefully this is it.
Yes.
Yep, well, we'll get into it. And this one's going to be not very picture intensive because I think we're just going to talk about the Redux, so it'll be a lot of just chatter.
Chatter is good.
Yes, chatter is good, but we'll start by going through each different section, and we'll go over some stuff, all the new stuff in the new beta, and then we'll, I'm sure Coach will have things to say about it, and Jack's never short of an opinion, so we'll get right into it.
Let's do it.
So the first section we'll talk about is the actual rules, and there's been some changes, and in general, the Redux rules have, it is a version 2 of Deadzone, that is positive. And I think it's made everything simpler. So some of the things that they've changed, obviously, is how damage works. And with the new 1.5, it hasn't changed again. But personally, I like the old way the damage worked when the was 1 hit point. Was average guy had 1 hit point, so it was just bloody. Everybody was dying everywhere. But now they've done it for the average is 2 hit points for a regular guy. It's still quick, but what do you think, Coach? Do you like the regular back to being 2 hit points for each person?
Yeah, you know what? I actually do because when you think about it, it makes him a little bit more survivable because when we were playing the originals and it had the 1 hit point for so basically if you were size 1, it was a 1 hit point, one wound. It was just way too. It was way too quick, and even somebody without AP and just throwing a lot of dice at you were killing guys that should have stuck around, that should have been more hardy, and they should have survived a little bit longer. Because anybody can get a crappy roll on a survive dice as far as shooting or even in a fight. So I think this just gives it a little bit more survivability. I mean, with the other 2 wounds, you're attacking on another 10 to 15 minutes per game. It's not really so much of a difference. But when you lose your 42-point model, 43-point model, 48-point model with 1 round of shooting, it really stinks. So I think this is in my opinion, a positive way. I like it with the 2 wounds, 3 wounds, depending on the size.
Yeah, I like the different sizes have different wounds. I just with the way that damage is, it was so much simpler when they said size equals wounds, right? Mm-hmm. Now that it's a little more fiddly, but it'll work, that's for sure.
Well, it's almost like with the sizes, it's just adding to Deadzone version 1, original version, because everybody had 2 wounds as it is, and unless you were vulnerable, but everybody had the wounds, and then I think they just had the size added the extra wounds, so that was probably the add-on later on, adding to the first rule book.
Yeah, they kept it similar, so that's good. Mm-hmm. The thing they changed, major thing, was getting rid of the cards and giving us command dice. I think we all love the command dice.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. I think that of all the of all the changes, I think that's the most notable, the biggest impact, and also the one I like the most.
And also that ties into, I know we're going to get into it later, but that also ties into the splat where you have the faction rules. So with the special faction rules, depending on your leader and the command dice together, it makes it more tactical too, because if you could re-roll your command dice, let's say it's the first round, I really want to get more shooting involved, and I roll 3 fights, I could re-roll that trying to get those shooting. So it's remember Ronnie said at the thing he wanted to make something more tactical, more something that'll influence the game a little bit more. And I think the command dice with the faction rules paired together is just phenomenal. I mean, when I first heard it, I was really pissed off because I loved using the cards, but now playing the game, I don't miss the cards at all.
Yeah, I find that too. The cards, it seems so clunky compared to the command dice. They work so well.
Right.
It's such a simple concept too.
And it's so, it's one of those things like I wasn't going to rage quit, but I was like, let me give it a chance. And by giving it a chance, it was just so much better.
And my major concern with the cards was that it was outside of the game. It was the board's here, and now you're tinkering around on the outside. You're paying attention to what's not important. Like I thought it was a distraction, and any rules should be incorporated on the board itself. And the dice somehow are still off the board, but are just so fast, and so it's not a distraction. You're not shuffling, pulling cards. You're not. It's for some reason my problem with the cards should still be with the dice, but it's not. The dice work.
Right. I like them to. I was thinking about it like when you're playing the game, you have all the tokens on the board, and then you have to put a dice next to your guy to show that you used it, because you can't use a move dice or a shoot or anything on the guy. Maybe they should come out with tokens, like small tokens about the size of the wound counters, and use that as a instead of putting a dice next to the guy, because then it's like you have your mutation, you have this, you have that, you have a bunch of different things. I think a token might be better, just like you were saying, Jack, because housekeeping on the table, maybe that might be take up a little bit less space than a dice.
Well, Rob hates the little swarm around each miniature. If there's one thing he could somehow avoid is like all these little satellites around each guy. How many, if he's wounded, what all those things. That's one of his.
That's why I like the cards actually. So you could just put all that stuff on the card for each guy, so you wouldn't actually have to have it on the board. But I think hopefully, we'll see if they do an official army builder, but maybe the army builder will leave room for that so you can keep them on the sheet for the army builder instead of, because I hate cluttered up boards, but it's hard not to. Like you have to have stuff there to represent things, right? And we've been trying a long time to try to figure out a way to do it, like with elastics or something so it's not, so every time you move, you don't have to move like a bunch of little chits with the guy,
Well, you got to use, I did that video with the magnetic paint, man. You got to magnetize everything, put a magnet underneath. What I do is I don't put the round piece in the base. I turn the base upside down. I cut that round piece off. I put a magnet underneath it, and then I just put the magnetized paint on it. So all those things just stick to the base of the guy. So when you move it, they all move with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great idea.
I like that so much better, and I don't like the way the model fits into the base with that round thing, because then you have to base it up and you have to account for that round circle around it, so you have to fill it in with stuff, and it just never came out good. I just never liked the way it came out.
It's quick and easy for people who are looking for a board game type, like as a gateway game. You plug them in there, a little drop of glue, you're ready to go.
Right.
If you're gonna paint and make your minis look good and turn it, like, go to the next level, then yes, you have to fill in the gap around, make sure everything's nice, and it depends on what you want to get out of it. And clearly, you want a little more of a pro look.
Yeah, it just especially a game like Deadzone where you're taking 5 to 10 models, you got to have them look good. When you have a mass army game, like if you're going to play Warpath or 40K or stuff like that, I think it's, your mistakes get lost in the sauce. But this one, you have, when I ran my Forge Fathers at Adepticon, I had 6 models. They better be up to par, man, because there's only 6 of them.
Yeah, we like using nice bases too, and we always have to cut off those discs every time. And I think lately they've been doing them that they don't come on the discs, so that's nice.
Yeah, I think that's done with the hard plastic. I'm glad they decided to do it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to the 1.5, they did finally add something back in that we were requesting, is the +1 to shoot for higher ground.
Yes.
That was one of the major things we wanted, just to give shooters a chance again. And so that's cool. They listened to us. I doubt they actually listened to us. It was just logic that should be in it.
Oh, the tendrils of our melodious voices are reaching out to the rules committee, so don't buck the system. It's been getting out there.
Yeah, that's right. You got guys watching your YouTube now, so
oh man,
you're our voice.
I'm so psyched that those guys actually found it. I'm humbled and blessed, but I'm glad. But it doesn't stop me from giving my opinion.
Yeah. And the thing that they also added in for 1.5 is that firing for effect. I find it's a little bit of a backstep back towards Blaze Away, but I never liked Blaze Away, so maybe I'm a little biased for that. But firing for effect, so it pins guys but does no damage. What do you think about that, Coach? Do you think you'll ever use that, or?
All right. I was really on the fence with this because Blaze Away was cool, but now you think about it, the guy's going to fire for effect. It's only going to go into one model, and you're going to know you're going to pin him. Blaze Away was kind of a pain in the behind because you had to figure out with the wounds and stuff. But what I do like is, unlike the last version where you could shoot or Blaze Away and shoot as your actions, you could either fire or fire for effect. So you can only do it once. So you got to think about what you're going to do. And if you're going to try to pin that guy, it might work because if you're going to shoot for, let's say, you get a stage 3 is shooting at a Forge Father, a Forge Guard. He really probably has a very, very slight chance of actually damaging him. But if you could knock him down a little bit, maybe just make him duck for cover, that's kind of a cool aspect to the game. And it's not doing the whole cube. It's just he's just unloading into one guy. So it's kind of a watered down version of Blaze Away, but it's not terrible. So it tactically it's not bad. Some guys have no chance. So I don't mind it, and I like the fact that you can only do it once. You can't shoot and then fire for effect. As opposed to version 1.
Yeah. And Jack, do you think you'll be using your stage 3s more now that they can do this kind of thing?
See, that's the thing. There was an outcry to bring Blaze Away back, and it has come back in this form. My playstyle didn't lean heavily on it, but there must be people out there. I can't believe it was a vocal minority that just some couple people had a hard on for this one mechanic. I don't know if it'll affect the way I play. I'm going to try it out. All these rules, I'm going to have to get some models. I'm going to have to build a list that that kind of plays with the new rules. But for me, take it or leave it. Really, I'm meh.
Yeah, I guess it could set up like combos, like we had the Reb who blazed away and then had the sword spawn jump on him and things like that. You could set up combos in that way. I guess that would help for for the fighting.
Right, you knock him down, then you have the combat guy jump in on top of him. He's going to get a +1 for coming in. Then he's getting a +1 because the guy's pinned. Mm-hmm. Or what is it now? Is he pinned?
+1. Yeah, I think so. It's pinned or injured or charging in. So
okay, yeah. So there you go. So now if he's injured, you're getting 3. So I just think it's a different way of thinking about it. We got to just figure out a way how to use it better. But then again, like for the Plague, although their stats are high, man, the HMG guys have way to fire 1 and suppression, and suppression is the whole cube. So there's your Blaze Away.
Yeah, pretty much same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because with suppression, you can damage the guy you're shooting at, and the rest of them get pinned. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's it makes sense. Like we were talking about last time, somebody's getting shot, and then you're going to stand there. Oh my God, did you see that? No, you're going to duck and roll for cover.
Yeah, it's a little more logical and maybe even cinematic in the fact that guys are going to jump out of the way and keep their heads down.
Yeah. And then firing for effect is just it's baby blaze away.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, but yeah, it seems to work. I like the suppression that is it's weird to have both in there. That's the only thing. It's like,
they took
why
out. Why
wouldn't you go one or the other? Like
right. That's what I said. I said, well, we already have suppression, but then they brought back the rapid fire rule for this. So
yeah,
I guess if you're going to take a bunch of guys that don't have suppression, then you're going to have mini suppression.
Yeah, it's strange. And another thing that they've changed, but not really changed, but they FAQ'd it, is that originally you could charge into a fight and kill the guy, and you'd still have another short action to use. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of like a similar idea to when you could chain fights. So this one, you could at least get 2 fights in a row. You could charge into the next square, maybe, or even shoot, I guess. But they kind of they took that away. I like the idea of cinematic. You kill a guy and then still shoot at somebody else. But they say now that you get in a fight, you stop. That's your end of your turn. What do you think about that? I'd rather have the cinematic keep going and maybe even have you could have a guy kill 2 people in one round kind of thing.
Yeah, you could look at it 2 ways. Or then if you have +1, if you have a move cube, a move command dice, then you could use it there. So, but I think it's just like, listen, if you fight and kill a guy, you're done. I think that's the way they were looking at it, because the daisy chaining, was just sometimes if you got on the wrong side of that, man, that was just terrible.
But at least this would only be, you could only do 2. Like, you do the first one, the second one. You couldn't keep going. Like before, you could kill everybody in the whole army in one amazing daisy chain. Yeah, we had. I remember I was playing one game. I was using the plague, and I had a stage 2, and he just basically killed 4 guys in a row. I was rolling like a champ, but like, all right, free move, get in there, free move, get in there, free move, and it's almost like I think they moved away from that, because remember in the last game, in the original version, there were things like you can freeze a guy, or you could distract a guy, or you could roll command dice and then distract a guy. I think they wanted to move away from that, because if you have 2 distract cards and a command action to distract, you distract 3 guys. That's half their force done.
Yeah, and it sucks. It sucks when you're on the receiving end of that. So I think getting rid of that was one of the reasons they got rid of that, was to make the game flow. And I guess by doing this, it helps the game flow by not having one guy do 8 different, killing 8 different things. That doesn't mean he can't fight. I mean, there's a way to break that, but you have to work for it. You have to use your command dice. So, and command dice are rare, and you got to really think about it. And strategically, you got to use it that way. Use it that way. So,
and the other thing about chaining attacks and stuff like that, there was a point with the doubling and tripling system that you could have 2 models who were evenly matched, or even if they weren't evenly matched, if the dice just worked out that way, that could slug it out back and forth, and you would, in the time that the rest of the models on the board would do 1 or 2 actions, these people would double and triple and go back and forth, and it really slowed down. It took what could be like a Fast and Furious action-packed thing, and just turned it into a slugfest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it comes to a grinding halt.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had that with, I think Blaine was fighting a Plague Swarm one time, and they just went back and forth, and neither of them could do anything. They just the defender kept tripling, so they kept getting a free action, and it was just...
Right, yeah. And then you're trying to bring some other guys over there so you can get the +1/+2 attacks on the same guy. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't terrible, but,
Yeah, it just slows it down, that's all.
Exactly.
That's against the mandate for the Redux, which is fast.
Right, fast and furious.
Another thing that I know you're a proponent of is not using the 100 points to make armies. You go much higher point costs. Do you think the 100 points is just way too low for any army to have a unit? Is it just like a starter? When you first start to learn the game kind of thing?
Exactly. 100 points is great if you can you do the old, give me a few enforcers and give me a few plague, and you learn how to do the game, because you can get a real broad horizon of different rules. So you get a few enforcers with some of the rules. You get to play that have more rules like agile and scout and whatnot, and then you can learn how to play. But like we were saying before, I think 200 is a sweet spot. And then you get 250, 300, and then when you do that, you can actually talk to your opponent and say, listen, we're going to go 250, but we're going to max out our guys, buy all the stuff, do this, do that, really like elite force them up and do it like that. Or you can go the opposite. You can go 250 points, 300, and just swarm the whole field. There'll be like, 20 guys, 10 on each side, and you could do it that way. So I'm thinking,
get some vehicles and mechs going, and
right, and the you get the Striders in there, and just go to town with them. But it leaves it open to more better stuff. Just to have more fun with it. I like but 200, man, that's a sweet spot right there. You can get some awesome games going at 200 points.
Yeah, that's they should say that in the rules, like play 100 points your first couple of games, but move up to 200 points.
Right.
They should say, make sure that's clear, because I think a lot of people might get discouraged when you only get 100 points and you're like, oh, but I wanted this or this. Yeah. Where they don't realize, just go for it. Like before
the 100 was the 70 where it was like, I'm trying to figure out something, but I always have that like 8 or 9 points hanging, and I don't know what to do with it, and I can't take another model, but I can take some extra stuff, but I really like to take an extra model. All right, well, then I got to take one guy and split him in half to get 2 guys, but now I'm at 72. And 100 seems like that, but 200, it's like, you always have enough points left over to figure out to do something.
Yeah, that's good. And the last thing I have on my list of things to talk about is the recon effects. Have you been using the recon effects in your games?
No, we've been just doing the one-offs.
Yeah, it's just weird. Those recon effects are, it's a strange thing, like where how much you beat a person in their recon roll, it gives them different abilities. It seems like a strange, unnecessary rule that they just threw in. Maybe they thought it'd be cool, but I don't know why it's in there. It's just odd.
Yeah, we've just been using the recon for initiative.
Yeah, us too. Like I was just looking at over the recon effects. I'm like, why is this even in here? Like they made it more complex for no reason. And I was just curious if you actually used them for any, to see how they worked.
And also they're a little confusing. Because how many points you win by, and then how many points, then you roll again. So the recon test, and then each dice roll result separately resolved entirely before the next one begins. The player that rolled the dice may choose the order that they are resolved. It's like really clunky for something that doesn't have to be in the game. It doesn't affect the game at all. It doesn't at all. I mean, you just roll missions and you roll to see who goes first. And even if you're doing a campaign, I don't know how much effect it comes into that. So if the one thing they can take out was the recon effect, we wouldn't miss it at all.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was just curious if you'd actually use them, because we never used them, because we're like, this is strange and unnecessary.
Right. It seems like it should be the ability or the power of a faction, or the ability or power of a mercenary. It doesn't seem like something you would do every game. Like to me, it's like something you'd be like, oh, well, I have recon effect, and I'm going to deploy that now. And you go, oh no, okay, like surprise. Yeah. It just seems out of place as something that you do every time. I don't know. We didn't use it.
And also, if whoever wins gets the recon effect, the other guy doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, with that, do you have any other things about the rules, Coach? Do you have anything else that you're thinking of?
No, man, it's solid, man. I'm digging it. I really like what they've done.
So we'll take a quick break. We'll have a Mantic ad, and we'll be back to talk about the abilities in the items, which I'm sure Coach has a lot more to talk about, because he had whole videos about this stuff. So we'll be back for that.
You have been listening to the Deadzone Podcast with your hosts Jack Fike and Rob Harper. The Deadzone Podcast is dedicated to Deadzone, the tabletop miniature game by Mantic Games. Visit them at manticgames.com.
Hey, this is Pat Lewis, North American Community Manager for Mantic Games, and you are listening to Deadzone the Podcast.
And welcome back to the Deadzone Podcast. We are joined with Coach, and we are doing a final look at the beta rules before they become official. And we just finished up doing the rules in general. We're going to work on the abilities now. So, Rob, what's first?
Well, you have a lot of different abilities that have changed for 1.5 that I think they finally finalized most of the stuff to cover everything. There's still a lot of abilities, and I remember Ronnie, when he was talking about changing it, was talking about trying to get rid of as many abilities as possible, and I think there's just as many as there ever was.
Yeah, we robbed Peter to pay Paul in this one.
Yeah, exactly. For everything they changed, they had to add a little different rule to tell what that was, and then they added some that don't make sense. But
they added more abilities that, if you were trying to get away from abilities, to bring in things, say, like Deadeye or some others, like it was just, it's just weird. Again, I don't know what happened there, but
it's like everybody had some good ideas, and they're like, all the rules committee had to like, oh, I want to do this, and they're like, sure, throw it in. Meanwhile, that was kind of against what Ronnie said he wanted, but I guess.
I heard you like abilities with your abilities.
That's right. So you had whole videos about the changes in the abilities and the items and stuff. So we'll hand this one over to you, Coach. What do you have on your list there?
Okay, well, what I did was the first video I did, I went over every ability, and then the second video was basically the new stuff. The 1.4 to 1.5, what they added, and I guess we'll just go in order. So basically everything from Agile all the way down to Blast we covered last time, that they streamlined Blast, so we don't even have to get into that. But, Construct, they just, last one, they said that they are immune to certain abilities. And this one, they'll never be pinned, and they'll never be, if affected by an attack that has additional effects to pinning, such as Blast, those effects apply. So if you're a Construct, you can never be pinned, so, like, you can't do the firing for effect on them, but you can wound them. Or if you blast them and they take damage, they will take damage. Just if they don't take damage, they're not pinned. So, that was good that they did that. But I think that's what was in the original. But, they just, I guess they went back with a fine-tooth comb and went over that. That's what it seems like they did. They added like one or two sentences to certain rules just to make them clearer. And that's a good thing. The next one is brand new, was just covering fire. The model gains +1 dice when firing for effect with a rapid fire weapon. So this is basically way to fire from the
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so
it's the old way to fire.
Right. So it's not a Cavalier, it is a whatever the new Cavalier is. It's same as the old one, but covering fire, you get a +1 when you're firing for effect, but it has to be a rapid fire weapon. A brand new rule that was not in the other one was Deadeye, which is the model increases the range stat of any ranged weapon by 1. It doesn't affect the combat weapons. So this is an awesome rule, man. But I haven't seen it. I think it's something you gain when you're running a campaign. But Deadeye is awesome because if you can increase a ranged weapon of 1, which if you have a weapon with, most of my 3 favorite rules, the number 1 rule is it burns. All of those are range 2 or 3. So if you can get Deadeye range 4, and you just sprint up, you could get maybe a free sprint action, and you're already within range of somebody. Deadeye is really a phenomenal rule that'll help those weapons especially.
Yeah, it's funny how it's you think of it more for like a sniper or something, but yeah, you can increase the range of your fire somehow. Right. But I was thinking of it more, rifles and stuff. It's like, well, your board's only 8 wide. Like most weapons have longer range than that. But yeah, for those short range weapons, it makes a lot more sense to use that.
Yeah, I mean, like a sniper rifle has a range 12.
Yeah,
I mean, great. That's, and I think that'll come on later on when that's probably going to hit with firefight, or if you
multiple maps, or
correct. If you're going to put 2 boards together, it makes sense because we did that the other day. We did a game where we put the 2 boards together. And it was like, I had one guy walking up, and he ended up getting shot by the sniper with a range 12, and that sucked. But it's good. Deadeye, I like it. Range 1. Maybe they can later on in expansions have a guy with Deadeye 2, Deadeye 3.
Yeah, do Deadeye End like they do.
Yeah. Deadeye End would be good. But this is a cool rule. I like it.
I think that like Rob said, like Sniper comes to mind, and my hope is, and I may be just being a cynical bastard, but there was a time when you were allowed to use the Sniper was able to be a sniper with their pistol, which made no sense. And I'm just wondering if this Deadeye was just a way of giving the Sniper the ability to be a little more proficient with his pistol without having him have the Sniper. Now that they've gone to scopes on the weapons, and you have a sniper rifle, I'm wondering if it's just going to turn out that Sniper's going to have Deadeye, and they'll be able to shoot better with their pistols, just as
so they can move and shoot.
Yeah, just as a big FU to people who just thought, hey, you know what, a sniper rifle should not act in the same way as a pistol, no matter who's carrying it. But that's just me. Maybe I'm just sour.
See, I disagreed. I think that if you're a sniper and you have a pistol, you should be able to shoot it better than someone else. Maybe not +2, maybe a +1. Because if you're a combat guy and you're getting, I don't know why, but they took out Brawler. But if you were a Brawler and you get a +1, it didn't matter if you had the power fist or the wrist blade or even just, your hands. You were a better hand-to-hand fighter. So I equated that the sniper with the sniper, it was an ability. The sniper ability just gave a guy picking up a gun a better, he was a better shot at it. Because when you got him into combat, usually the snipers were like a 6+. So, they were on the range more than they were on the map. So that's what I equated it to that way. And then the combat guys usually had better stats, or they had, Brawler giving them extra dice because they were on the map more and not on the range. So that's the way I saw it.
It was just the fact that you could move and shoot even with a pistol. Like if the whole point of snipers is that you get into position and you aim and it takes time. Where you shouldn't be able to run and gun and still have the same ability to snipe as if you were using a rifle, right? That's the only difference, I think.
But then again, the sniper rifle gave you range and AP, and the pistol gave you just nothing.
Yeah.
So just rolling the extra dice wasn't a terrible thing, but I could see where it gets +2 dice was kind of.
Yeah, they should have given him marksman also, so that marksman would work with the pistol, and then because that's +1, right? And then sniper would work with the sniper rifle. But
then again, that's I heard you like rules on top of your rules, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I think the way they fixed it is fine. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the next new rule is fire control, which is pretty good. When a model makes a shoot action, it could use 2 weapons instead of 1. Yeah. You could shoot at 2 different guys with 2 different guns, or you could shoot at 2 different guys with the same gun, or you could shoot at 2 different guys, one guy with 2 different guns. So I think that was put there to replace Gun Crazy.
Yeah, Gun Crazy's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, Gun Crazy's gone.
That was another complex rule for no reason.
Yeah, when I played Andrew, he used to always take the Ripper suits. He loved them. And, those are one of the things like you could take for fun, but, tournament-wise, it's a random thing. So, you'd have to roll to see what would happen, but then if you rolled, it was almost like Rampage. So I think this is it's a lot simpler. I'm shooting, I have fire control. I'm going to shoot these 2 guns at these 2 guys, and and that's it. 2 shots because if you kept rolling on it, you kept rolling and rolling and rolling. You could shoot 5 weapons with the Gun Crazy. So it was crazy, pun intended.
It is strange that they got rid of Gun Crazy but kept Rampage.
Yeah.
You think they'd get rid of them both?
Yeah, I can't stand Rampage.
No, I can't either. Especially when they give it to someone like Howlett, who's supposed to be a leader, and somehow he's got Rampage. He wouldn't have gotten far in the military if he started just killing his own people.
Well, like I said, man, he's got to get psyched, man. Let me kill a few guys and let me get in the combat. But you know what? I think Rampage would be okay if there was a way to get rid of Rampage.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I don't know, but let's say he's got a wound on him and he just goes crazy, and then it's like, all right, I'm going to roll for Rampage to see what happens, but I'm going to get rid of it. But, well, now there's a few things that you can get rid of wounds, or, like maybe a meta pack or something like that. So maybe that's the key to it. Like if he gets rampage, you got to make sure you got to give him a medipack just in case. So
you can use it and turn it off.
Yeah, or the psychic ability that gives you the that repairs a wound.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're not there yet, but invigorate. And it's
invigorate.
Like
yes.
maybe the medics should have like stims and things. Makes medics more useful. They have the invigorate, and they have something that calms guys down, like you say, and make them a little bit more useful. But as it is now, I don't think anybody has invigorate. I tried to look. I don't think any model has it, or they have it as
yes. Yeah. The Tangle and the Chovar. But maybe they should make like if they're going to do Howlet, they have instead of a medic, they'll have a psychiatrist. That like, hey, calm down, Howlet. Let's talk about your mom or whatever, and
sit him down on the couch for a round.
Yeah, just sit him down, and he takes, I roll a 2D. I have to get 3 for the timeout.
Or he just has to take his Valium that round and
right. Yeah, like a combat stim that calms him down and makes him, or combat focus drug or whatever. That might work. But all right, so next one, it's not a new rule, but they basically went right from the FAQ to Frenzy. So now we know that Frenzy N is a 1, 2, or 3. So
same with the weight of fire too.
Right, but they did say that it's cumulative. So if you have a weapon that's Frenzy 1 and your ability gives you a Frenzy 1, now you're at Frenzy 2. And
that's cool.
It stacks. I like that. So you can, if you could figure it out how to give a guy a Frenzy 2 or 3, you might have to pay for it in victory points and points, but that would be really awesome.
And one you actually skipped was Frag. They nerfed that too. They made it so the 9 squares around you don't get pinned and thrown.
Oh yeah, I thought we covered that last time, but
did we? Maybe yeah.
Yeah, Frag is what though, it makes sense because the frag blows up, and now you're looking at you think about it, a 9 square weapon.
That was too powerful before.
Oh my God! It's just it's like, all right, I'm going to wait. Now I'm going to shoot. All right, so that you're going to definitely have at least 2 to 4 guys within a 9 square radius. So now all I got to do is just blast it in the middle there, and everybody else is pinned. It's a little, I think the guys in the cube should get really monkeyed up, but everybody else, just, and also that's a lot of rolls again, so that slows down the game.
Yeah, that's right.
They nerfed it, but they nerfed it in a good way. In my humble opinion.
Yeah.
So, but Frenzy is Frenzy N. Let's see what else we got. Grenade Heavy. Horde is the same. Horde is a really good rule. I like that they kept the +1, but the thing is they took out the AP.
Mm.
So remember, it was in the one expansion, for every model you would get a +1, not including yourself. So basically, you would have a +1 dice for every model in it. But they also had it where it would be +1 AP. So if you had 4 guys in it, that would be. I mean, that made them ridiculous. So they got rid of that with the AP. Everything else is the same, all the way up to Invigorate. And basically, just to sum it up, I won't read it. Is it's a 3-dice shoot test. You got to get 2 successes with no modifiers, and if successful, the target removes an activation token. That is dirty. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, now the only ones that have it are the Psychers have it, and I think the medic. I don't think he has it.
No, he doesn't. I wish he did.
Yeah, so maybe that's coming in an expansion, or maybe they'll add that to because I know we're getting the rule book. So what we got right now is the rule book, and then what's coming out is the Infestation expansion book. So maybe there might be something in there where I don't know, you eat the vermin crap and you get invigorated or something like that, or maybe they the spice in the vermin crap is connected.
Science experiments, they use the mice.
Yes, you never know, or maybe you got to bite the tangle and you can get invigorated, or but that's a really strong rule that I guess if there was too much out there, it would be really OP.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. We don't have to talk about the greatest rule in the world, which is it burns, because it's exactly the same, and they listen to
But
us.
you do like talking about it.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. If I can get it burns and Deadeye, woo! Here we go. It's not a new rule, but we must take a moment and talk about that life support has been given back to the greatest faction, which is the Forge Fathers.
Yes,
And,
yes. Your Forge Fathers are back to being very resilient. They
already were resilient. Now they're just impossible to kill.
It was a glaring omission when we were playing. When we looked over the beta rules that we had, and it just seemed like, okay, where's Invigorate? Like that, it used
life
to be,
support.
Or there was life support, and I wasn't totally surprised that it wasn't there, because it is pretty tough, but it's back.
Right. Well, you think about it, the Forge Guard are 30 points each. Now, here's the funny thing, though. I mean, and I mentioned it in the video, that the Forge Guard Herskal, who is the leader, he has all the cool stuff. He basically is exactly like Forge Guard. He's got a better fight stat. That's about it. And he's got a better shoot stat. But he doesn't have life support. I hope that's an omission, because I can't see him wearing the armor with no life support.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
He's wearing the same armor, and it is an aspect of the armor that gives you this life support. He just doesn't have it. It's got to be an omission.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, it comes with Bluetooth, comes with navigation, and life support. Those are three. They come with it. So it's got to. I mean, listen, I'm telling everybody right now, if we play and it's not in the book, it's in the book. It's in my book. So that's it.
No, what it is he's just too cool. He's like, I don't need that. I don't need life support. That's for wimps.
Yeah, he says, yeah, take that backup camera. You can stick it. I like
raw dying it.
Top down.
I don't go back. But it's back. It's back in and where it needs to be. All right, here we go. Now this is where it gets confusing. Logistics.
Yeah.
If a model is the leader of the strike team, you may move one item 1 cube after resolving any recon dice effects and prior to the first turn. You may not move the item into a player's deployment zone. What?
What's the point? Yeah. I said it'd be fine if that you could move objectives. That would be really useful. But who cares? You move an item one step closer?
Right.
Really? Come on. That seems like a waste of a sentence in the book.
And it's more before the game starts shenanigans that we didn't need and we didn't have before.
Yeah, it's like the recon effects.
And it goes hand in hand with the recon effect. So at some point, because as it stands right now, I don't understand why either of these exist. At some point, there's going to be campaigns or something. Something's going to be unveiled that's going to, shed some light. We're going to go, okay, that's where they're from. But for right now, it just seems like I want to play the game, not, create this mini campaign by dice rolls beforehand.
Yeah, well, it's like setup takes long enough already. You don't need to make the game longer by setting up more stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like if you have a mission that you have to scour, you have to collect the stuff, and you could just say, all right, when you roll the dice and you randomly put out, because we use those the resin cubes for the items, and you put them out. You might just say, all right, well, this one is in cube 2-3. I'm going to move it in 2-2, make it closer to me, so maybe my guy can grab it or something like that. I could just see that. It's just one thing, but now you're putting on more rules onto your guy. So if this model is the leader of your strike team, well, everybody has a leader of the strike team. So does that mean that we could just move one item 1 cube after resolving the recon effects? So basically, I can move one thing closer to me.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't. It's kind of one of those things like they put in to put in.
Yeah.
All right. So now the new rule was not a new rule, but psychic. They put it in, and they changed it. It's a new way. So basically, it's a model can use psychic powers. It's another effect that they can use. They have range characteristics. They're used in either a shoot or fight test, just like weapons, and they receive the same modifiers as a standard shoot or fight. So I guess if you have a psychic and you have a +1 to shoot, and it's a shoot action, then you can do 2 psychic actions. I'm assuming, because like that. This is the only thing. I wasn't too hot on it, but the only exception is that a psychic weapon does not need line of sight to its target. So does that mean you can hide the guy and you can do what you got to do? Because the psychic powers they have, like the Chovar or the other dude, the Tangle, is I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Yeah, I know in your video you were kind of questioning the addition of psychics at all to the game.
Right.
You had made mention. Now we've never played 40K, so you said there was a deal there that 40K has psychics in it, and you also said, hey, fantasy games have magic aspects.
Right.
And you were like, does Deadzone really need it? Do we really need to have that just because everyone else does?
Right.
And I disagreed. When I was watching the video, I was like, I kind of like a little bit of just a little drop of chaos in the soup. I'd like to see where they go with it.
Well,
right now, the Chovar, I love the model. Haven't been able to use it. I think, I'm something that you could hide in a building and just make small changes to the board that, to me, it's got a wide open world of possibilities.
Right. Well, I think I agree. Well, the Chovar Psychic, I disagree. I hate that model. I don't find anything. It's just like like Nemo, Finding Nemo. So I think Eric is going to use SpongeBob as his psychic because it looks like he's like jellyfishing with the thing. But I think there's potential there. The only thing is, it seems more that the psychics are not. They're not combat wise. They are more of a support model, because the one basically, one is a blast, one is stun, which is actually pretty cool. Stun is pretty cool.
And that's the one I think would be, if I were to field a psychic model, that's the one that I think I would lean heavily on stun.
Right.
Because it is dirty. It's pretty. It's a greasy maneuver.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this is where Invigorate is. So it's blank is stun, so it's a range 4. Psychic power, so you have to roll to shoot. Passion, which is Invigorate, is the same thing. So, but the Chovar Psychic, the shoot stat for him is a 5+. So now, I guess you would use that. Like, I guess you would roll against survive
on your own guy.
Yeah. So if I'm casting stun on you, if I'm casting blank, the psychic power blank on you, I guess you have to roll survive dice against it.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. I'm assuming since it's a shooting attack.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The only thing is they're very squishy. Like the Chovar Psychic is 6+, but he does have a 2 energy shield, and I don't think we have the rules for the other guy, the Tangle.
Tangle?
Yeah. Do we have the stats on that, or?
Let me just check.
I don't think so.
They change it all the time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are we? Veerman.
But we do have Hacker Halftail.
Yeah. Although isn't he? He's a merc.
Warpath.
Yeah,
no,
he's a merc.
Yeah, he's a merc. I'm just saying, but he only works for the Veerman, so that goes back to the thing that you guys said. I agree with.
We'll get to that.
Okay, no problem. We'll get to it.
The Tangle does have stats now. He's he can only move 1, so he's 1/1 for speed.
Okay.
He's 5+ shoot, 6+ fight, 5+ survive, size 4, armor 1, 3 VPs, 25 points, and he counts as a vehicle, which is kind of strange.
Oh, okay.
Now, I think it's because he's on that little hover thing.
Now, what's his psychic powers?
Visions of Glory, Invigorate, Visions of Death. Visions of Glory and Visions of Death. I guess that's the 2 names of them. One's Invigorate, one's Stun.
Okay. And then what's the last one? Do you have another one?
No, that's it.
He just had. So basically, He's either stunning you or invigorating his own.
Yeah.
So the Chovar has blast. Basically, it's a blast power. And does he have a shield?
The
tangle.
No. He's
shield.
a psychic vehicle with his only other thing is command.
Okay.
No weapons.
Yeah. I think if they did something like psionics, I know like one of the rules the committee was talking to me about it on the video, and he says he put a lot into it, and they're trying to do something where like 40K, the guys they tap into the warp, and then the warp is kind of this chaotic thing, and if you roll the wrong way, you can hurt yourself, or you can turn into a demon or something like that. So the psychic powers have to find their own way in the world, I think. I think they're starting off pretty good, but there's something, it's not there yet. I think I like it. I agree with Jack. I think it's cool to have it. I think it's cool in it, but it's just not there yet. That's like maybe something later on. Because what he said was, instead of having an army-wide rule where everybody has access to psychic powers, it should be, especially for Deadzone, it should be model-specific. And I agree with that. But it should be, I don't know, it's missing something. I can't put my finger on it. It bothers me because I always liked this stuff. Even when I was playing D&D or something, I always had like a warrior that had some magic powers to him. So I love the fact that they're doing this, but it needs to be, I don't know. It's an itch you can't scratch. I can't put my finger on it.
It kind of reminds me of the psychics from like Babylon 5. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Yes.
They have that, they're still psychics, but maybe every race should have somebody that can do it, but make it super rare, like a unique character or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now it's kind of unfair that you either have to take that as your merc, as Chovar psychic, or play the Veerman. Like everybody should have access to somebody at least, right?
Right. But I think
maybe not like maybe the Marauders don't have it because that's not in their nature, but something like that,
Right. Yeah.
Especially the Rebs. Rebs need more.
Yeah, maybe if they had, I don't know, the Sun Priest who can, any solar wind or something like that, he could use that power. I don't know, but hopefully in the next few versions they'll be able to do it. But I promised them. I said I was going to use one of the psychics in the next bat rep and try to figure it out because I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I actually like it. Just I don't know.
Yeah, I like him. I just think you need a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can agree that as of right now, no one's going to be fielding psychic in a tournament if they're actually trying to play competitively. I don't think you're going to see a Chovar psychic being fielded.
No, they're too squishy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd probably rather have something else if you can have mercenaries at all.
Right. Yeah, and 20 points. I mean, he's 20 points. For 5 more points, you're getting a stanza.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. No contest there.
No contest. No, not even.
Is that the end of the abilities, or is there more?
No. We got we're up to R.
Okay.
Rampage is still in, hasn't changed. Rapid fire basically is the old blaze away. You can only fire for effect with a rapid fire weapon. So that's basically, like we said, it's the same old package rewrapped another wrapping paper. Scout is in it, but they changed it, which before it was in the book you had the 4 deployment zones, and there was a gray area that you could put your models in, which was kind of almost a little bit out of the deployment zone. So it was like up to the 3rd cube.
Yeah,
but
1 extra square or 2 extra squares.
Right. So now it's a free sprint action before the game starts. So you get a free sprint action. And one of the things I liked about it is if you have sprint, and some models sprint is more than 2. So you might be able to sprint up, then a move action, and you could be in combat first round.
So if you get like a Strider with a Scout, that could be pretty powerful.
Yeah, oh yeah. And then you give him a dice for a free move action, or that might work. But I don't know if a Strider has Scout, if any of them do.
Or what about you can equip a girl with a mono wheel? That give you, I think it's 1/5 with the sprint. So you get an extra 5 spaces right at the beginning. You can get somebody with a mono wheel right into the battle the first round.
Yeah. If they have Scout, man, that's something. That's
Pathfinders, I believe, has Scout, don't they?
Yeah. But does the mono wheel, does it take it away from her?
Mono wheel is an ability. It's an item.
Oh, it's not. Well, there you go. Then yeah, because all Pathfinders have Scout.
Yeah, so you just give a Pathfinder with Scout, they can be right up there.
Yeah. Well,
no one likes that.
They
model,
wouldn't last long, but
yeah, that model sucks. So,
but
yeah, the
it
model
looks
wheel,
like
yeah.
you want to have one.
Yeah, and
no,
you know
it's just a clown car with you. Well, we'll get to that's in the items, but yeah.
But you know what's odd is that the Pathfinders have Scout, but the tactician, the sergeant does not.
Oh, he's got to stay back. He doesn't want to get up there.
I guess. Maybe give him an ability, he could run somewhere else, or you know.
Yeah, what's his? Because he's got the same speed, I think, right?
Yes.
So it's not even like he could just go somewhere else while they're running up.
No. But then again,
yeah,
he doesn't have to run up. Maybe he could run sideways or diagonal or get into a better position because depending on your opponent's deployment.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
like you can't. It'd be nice to be able to give a sniper scout, get him up on. Actually, they have light sniper Pathfinders specialists, so you can get them up on the top of a building or something.
Yeah, and also tag rifle's pretty cool too. Yep. All right, the next one is strategist. This is another one of those that they added. If this model is the leader of the strike team, you may re-roll one failed dice in the recon test. So
it's only if you use that recon stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Well, is the recon test, maybe that's for
initiative?
For initiative, yeah. So if you can re-roll one failed dice, that's not bad.
I guess so.
That might be the tiebreaker.
Yep.
You know.
But initiative is not that important. Sometimes it's better to go second, you know.
Mm-hmm. And like we said before, initiative is good, but you know, you're not moving a whole army, so it's not as bad as it was.
Used to be way more powerful. Yeah.
Correct. Also, stun is in it again, which is the newer ability. The only thing is the last beta, only grenades, you know, were stun grenades, but now certain psychic abilities, psychic abilities, and some guns have stun. So you know, I guess it's they're moving that around a little bit, and that's it. Let me see my notes here. Everything else the same. Vehicle, violate, vulnerable. Weight of fire. The only difference is that is weight of fire N 1 and 2, and it is cumulative. So it's basically weight of fire and frenzy are the mirror reflections of each other.
Yeah.
And that would take us through all of the new abilities.
Cool. And we'll take a break. We'll come back and talk about items.
FOG Andrew and the coach here, and we would like to tell you about our YouTube channel, Family of Gamers 777.
Family of Gamers covers the hobby from topics like airbrushing, painting, building, converting, unboxings, interviews, and much, much more.
We go over in-depth tactics and battle reports of games like Deadzone, Warhammer 40k, X-Wing, Kings of War, and Wild West Exodus.
So go over to Family of Gamers 777 on YouTube and become part of the family.
Hey, this is Jack from the Deadzone Podcast, and you've been listening to the Deadzone Podcast.
With Jack from the Deadzone Podcast.
So much Deadzone Podcast, it'll make you vomit.
And welcome back, and we'll talk about some items. Yes. And there's a few differences in the items. Not that many, actually, though. I think the items stayed pretty similar, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty much. There's a few differences. One of the ones, we'll go in alphabetical order here. Booby Trap is a frag 3. So that's it was always a frag, but now it's, you know, they said what it was, treated as though it's a frag 3 explosion detonates in the cube. So that's just a basic, you know, they're not streamlining, they're explaining it better. But I'm glad for the first time we actually have rules for experimental weapons.
Yeah, I love the random effects.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of cool. So basically, it's using the shoot action. You roll dice before you do the attack. 1 to 2 is blast. 3 to 4 is knockback. 5 to 6 is a weight of fire 2. Number 7 is AP 3. So right now you got 4 really good things. And then number 8 is the ominous hum, which basically you blow yourself up. And the more 8s you roll, it increases 1 each time by the 8 that is rolled. So it's not as bad you know, I mean, I'd be willing to take it. I love that model, the guy, the plague with the experimental weapon.
Yeah,
but,
me too. Me too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just started to prime him. I'm going to paint him because I want to use this. I mean, everything is pretty good other than blowing yourself up. But, you know, hey, that's what you get. You grab an experimental weapon. I really like it. I think it's cool, you know. The more 8s you roll, the worse it is. So,
And
you know,
I
that's
like
pretty
that.
cool.
I like that. I like that it's worth feeling because it's got some great abilities. The AP, I think, is up there in the. But the exploding 8s of devastation that could happen if it malfunctions, it's got just enough danger. It can be fun. It's chaotic, and it's right up my alley for just a fun mechanic for a nice looking model. I love that sculpt, and I will be playing with him the next time I play, for sure, guaranteed.
The only thing is it's heavy, which kind of sucks for the plague. It's heavy. It gives you 1 extra victory point, but you know what? It's definitely worth it.
What's his shoot stat? Or it doesn't matter anymore because it could be any plague, right?
Well, I think it's the you give it to the plague specialist, 3A specialist, so 10 points for that, and then 5 points for the weapon. And his shoot stat is a 5+, which is better than the regular plague, which is a 6+.
I was gonna say at least it's not a 6+.
Yeah. So it's not terrible. I mean, if you can get like Weight of Fire 2 or even AP 3, woo, that's pretty good, man. Knockback, blast, it's all good. Other than blowing yourself up is good, because you know, as we all know, blowing yourself up is not good.
That's a bold statement. You went out on a limb on that one, dude.
I
really
Controversial there, Coach. We was trying to rein it in.
Hey, listen, you know, I got to tell it like it is.
Yeah.
All right, so the new thing is the hammer drop armor, which is actually very cool. It's so far I've only seen the Forge Fathers have it, which is fine by me. Bjorn Starnfeld has it, and I think was it in the Warpath Kickstarter where they have a whole crew of these guys.
Yeah, the hammer fist drop guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is you start him not on the board. He's kind of, I guess he's in reserve, and one of your guys has to call him.
He's coming from orbit. That's where he is.
Yes.
Takes a little time.
Right, but he has to be called in. So one of your guys has to use a special action to call him in.
Yeah, that's right.
And when they come down, he has to place the Hammer Fist model in any empty cube on the table at the top level of the stack of cubes. The force of the model's entry sends nearby models flying. The Hammer Fist model rolls a 3 dice 4+ X test for the strength of the attack. Models in all adjacent cubes must roll 3 dice survive test, roll once for the attack, and then separately for each target model. So basically, this is Frag, old Frag.
Yeah, old Frag, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he drops in. It almost is like, I said it in the video, it was either like when Iron Man comes down or Goku, like, hits the floor and everything around, you know.
It just blows everything up.
Blows everybody up. And
the classic
cool.
superhero landing.
Yes. You know, the Howlett's pose. And,
yeah, exactly.
And, he could knock everybody down. So, and I guess he could knock friendlies down, too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah.
It would make sense. Now, I guess you just pick the cube and he comes into that cube. There's no rolling or random or anything like that. So
yeah, that's good too.
Yeah, I don't see any negative to this. It's actually pretty cool. And I guess when Warpack comes out and we get those models, it'll help. Now, there's a few things with it. This goes back to you're going to have a chart. So, like we said, we've taken away from some, but now we have some new rules. So now, if you draw or survive wins, the attack misses. If the Hammer Fist wins in the hit, the target model is thrown 1 cube directly away from the Hammer Fist model and is pinned. The Hammer Fist model is then marked as activated. The rest of the game, the model equipped with Hammer Fist drop armor counts as having a jump pack. So you're basically having a Forge Guard in this armor with a jump pack. So that's pretty good.
But I do like it's a one-time use, so you can't just keep doing it and destroying it. So it's good. That's fine. It's a nice
he's
fluff.
He's not jumping up and then jumping back down and blowing guys up. But it's not. I mean, it's pretty cool. And he's you think about it, he's only 30 points, and he has the armor. They're calling it orbital drop armor, and this is the hammer fist armor. So I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't,
I don't know.
It doesn't need to be a blitzkrieg first attack. Like, you don't need to drop them on the enemy general every time. Like, I'm just going to smash into this unit. Like, tactically, to be able to get a couple of turns into the game and go, oh, you know what? I really need someone on this flank. He's outmaneuvered me. This stuff. Just to be able to bring another model in and put it down where you need it most, without him slamming into things. That's just a cool ability right there. You don't need the superhero landing. You just put him there and go, okay, I've shored up my left flank.
Right. And
weird thing is he has scout too. Stick.
I was just about to say that he has scout. Like, all right.
Yeah, I guess you can do one or the other. I guess.
Yeah, I guess maybe that was just an oversight that they put in, because if he's not coming in the first round, so he can't scout.
Well, you can choose to take him in the first round, I guess, if you just put him on the board like a normal character, right?
Well, no, it says a model. Well, maybe he's got the orbital drop armor, so you can put him on there. But this is the hammer fist drop armor, so maybe it is different, because I know he had that ability in the first original. When he was written into it. This one says that a model with the hammer fist drop armor starts the battle off the table. And
it doesn't say you may choose to. Yeah, Mike, it does it, eh?
Right. So basically, he has to be off, but it doesn't say when you can call him in. So like Jack was saying, I can call him in the third round and bring him in and get him behind. Try to kill. Maybe on a suicide mission, kill the leader or something. Get behind enemy lines.
Or you have like a annoying mortar team or something that you can't get to, hiding somewhere just in directing you. Drop them right beside them and just destroy them. Yeah,
either that or like pin them for the round, so they got to get up, and since it's a long action, and so this is one of the things that they've added that's really good. It's a little complex but very, very tactical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like it a lot. I really do.
I agree.
Yeah. It's a really neat. I like those kind of unique abilities for guys, and like those definitely only Forge Brothers are going to have this. Right. And I like that everybody has something unique like that, like a quick attack.
It's the way it should be. It should be like that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking across the table. You're looking across the table. That model's sitting on the side of the table. He's fielded it. It's third round in, and you're looking at him. He's got that grin on his face. You're like, okay, when's it going to happen?
When are you gonna pull the trigger on this guy?
You did do it already. What are you waiting for? You just sit there. Maybe this round. I don't know.
What if your whole faction, like your whole side, your whole team is made up of the Hammer Fist guys? So nobody starts the board on the. You have nobody on your starting line. They're all just waiting.
That's they used to do that in 40K. They got rid of that because if no one's on the board, you've been tabled.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to have somebody on the board.
There would have to be one, because doesn't it say that?
You need somebody to call them in. Yep.
So,
wait, aren't you supposed to call? No, I thought you were going to call. No, wait, you were supposed to be on. No, you were supposed to be on. Oh, okay, we're stuck up here.
That's why I wish it says you may start them off the board, because to have them force them to start off the board, you can't have a group of just Hammer Fists, because then they all have to start off the board. You should have one guy who's designated. Okay, this guy's going to start here, and then all the rest will just come in.
Right.
They should say you may start them off the board. I hope they change that.
Well, if you have 5 guys, then you're going to need 5 guys to call them in, because
one guy can keep calling one in year round, right?
Yeah, one at a time. So
yeah.
It's cool. It's something to play with.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So the next thing is not new, but the jump packs are.
Thank God.
We're exactly what we said. I'm glad that our tendrils and melodious voices are reaching out through the ether and getting into people's heads. So basically now they can move it up and down the levels without needing a wall to climb, which is what we said.
Mm-hmm.
Jump over solid walls on the same level, which is awesome, and we said. And jump over gaps in the floor of the same level up to 1 cube wide, which is what we said. So they took, the enforcers are expensive, but by having a jump pack doing all this cool stuff, and I guess remember they were saying that the enforcers are elite, but they're like they won't have in Warpath. They're not going to have tanks and stuff like that because they're like shock troopers coming in quick, hitting, getting in, getting out quick. So the jump pack should be able to do that. You know, you got to get your Boba Fett in there.
Yep.
So
and they still take no damage from falling, which is nice too.
Right. Which is, I'm sorry. Yes, it takes no falling damage, which we did say before. So they're not just fall packs; they are jump packs, which is
that's right. They're not parachutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's great that that they have that. And then going back to the Hammer Fist, that's what he has for the rest of the game. So it's I'm glad they did that. It's really cool.
They had to make adjustments from the original rules to the jump packs to account for the fact that they're actually now parachutes for Warpath. I understand, but they didn't need to nerf everything that made the jump pack functional. They didn't need to get rid of that stuff because they added no fall damage. That should have been. That's a no-brainer that you can add that. You could say, I've got a jetpack on my back. I'm not going to fall off a building and just plummet to the ground. I'll be able to at least, right myself or whatever. This is the rule that should be. This is the way it, don't change it. These are the jump packs now, and that it's perfect right now. Right.
And the funny part is it just seemed like, I mean, every beta that came out is, the secret ones and the public one, it was like they added the stuff in but forgot to leave the stuff in that they left in before. So it was like, wait a minute, they can't go over walls anymore, but they take no falling damage. It was like, now it's like, all right, guys, we got to put all the stuff back in, and
or it's like they're like, no, it still does that. We just forgot to write it down, kind of thing. Maybe they meant it the whole time. It wasn't in these because the rules, especially the early betas, were really rough written, and it's like almost like notes. Like, okay, this is it wasn't meant for public consumption. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. But I'm glad it's the way it's where it should be.
Exactly.
All right, and then everything else is the same all the way up to the thermal mines. Now, when I read the thermal mines are one-use range F AP3 weapons. A guy commented, one of the rules guy commented on my video saying that. When I read that, and I don't know if you guys got it, it says a thermal mine are one-use range F AP3 weapons. I think of a mine as something that you step on and blows up.
They're not mines. They're like satchel charges. They're more they're things you throw and put onto a guy and run away, stick to him, and they're not mines.
Right. So basically, what he was saying is that it's a range F. So you you take one, and I look at it this way: like you're fighting a stage 1, and you're a pathfinder. So now it has like it's one of those cinematic things where it's like I'm about to rip your eyes out, and he says, he comes up with his catchphrase, and he's attached the bomb to the guy's chest with the countdown timer. Mm-hmm. Then it looks on his face, and it blows him up. So it's an AP3 weapon, and it's really tough, and it's it's cool. I think it's cool, but there is a drawback to it. It is a rare item.
Yeah.
So now, are we taking thermal mines, or are we going to take defender shields? It sounds good, but I don't know, man. It's the defender shields is just the dividend that keeps on paying. This is a one use.
That's one thing that they should have changed is make defender shields that you have to be carrying a light weapon or something with them to kind of nerf them a bit, so you can't be carrying a sniper rifle and a defender shield or something,
Yeah.
They should have made it like only able to use with whatever, that all those new catchphrases they have, light, Yeah, light is one of them. Maybe the defender shield should only be used with light items. Right,
or maybe even like that or a combat item.
Yeah, like a sword or something.
Yeah, if you're using the gauntlet or you're using one of the blades, the wrist blades or something like that. But the thermal mine is a rare. And, so if you look at the weapons, the AP ammo, defender shield, holo sights, sentry gun, and thermal mines are all rare.
So it's a hard choice, yeah.
It's a really hard choice, and the only unique thing is for the enforcers is the monowheel scout bike, which is just terrible. So
Hey, if you want your enforcers to look like clowns, that's the one you choose.
yeah. So
Although it is useful. Too bad it looks like that, because that idea of using that with a scout isn't really cool. But
yeah,
I just
absolutely.
can't do it.
yeah. Well, you know what though? I mean, listen, it's one of those things. You bite the bullet, or like the hobby, man. Just hobby something up that looks better.
Yeah, get a better mono wheel.
There must be people who looked at that when that's perfect. It must, trigger something in their.
Well, whoever like sculpted it must have liked it.
But like there must be fans of that model. And the concept's all right, that it collapses and turns into a backpack that you can, hump around the board if you need to.
They could do like a little dirt bike like that though, with 2 wheels. I just want 2 wheels.
Or what about one of those things that go on fire? What are the hoverboards?
No,
They could do like an enforcer hoverboard.
Awesome.
Do that. And it's and if you roll too many ones, it blows up, and it's like a frag in the cube or something like that. That's pretty good. I gotta make a phone call.
Yeah, we'll get that.
Get Roddy on the line
fixed.
Yeah, get him on the line right now. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking at my because and the kit was expensive, right? The 2 models and that bike was like $25, for that kit.
Yeah,
it was because the guys it's all resin, it's blue resin, and the Pathfinders are resin. But I'm looking
and it
at
was brittle as hell too.
Yeah, and I'm looking at my Pathfinder now, and she's got 1 foot up on a rock instead of on the bike. So
you just made it so you had 2 girl Pathfinders.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
actually, well, right now I think he's a she because I broke off the ponytail.
So that was the first half of our conversation with Coach, and we're going to get back to it next time. We'll talk more about the Deadzone Redux, and we'll have him back. And I've been Rob.
And I'm Jack.
And I'm still the coach.
And we'll be back on the Deadzone the Podcast, number 50. Next one's 50. Big 5-0. You get to be here for 5-0, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
And don't forget to go to cafepress.ca/Deadzone Podcast for all your merch, and check out all the falleninfantry.wordpress.com unboxings. We got a lot on there. And we'll be back. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Deadzone Podcast. I have been your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen. Visit the website, deadzonegame.podbean.com. Email your hosts at deadzonepodcast@gmail.com. On Twitter, you can follow the show at Deadzone Podcast. The Deadzone Podcast is a production of Vinland Old Time Radio Productions.
Yes, that's one thing that all of this rules reconfiguring is certainly.
Is that a word?
Of course it is. It's in the thesaurus. Look it up. And when they were going to do without, they were going to scrub them, get rid of them, and streamline, I was fully behind that because it is a lot of book looking and stuff like that. It's still clunky, but it looks like it's impossible to do, that they were not able to do it. So it looks like we're stuck with abilities. So if that's the way it's going to be, well, then we might as well have cool ones.
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't that bad in the other one. I mean, everybody knew Brawler had 1, Sniper had +2. I never really, when my guy had an ability, I never forgot it. I think the streamlining shouldn't have really been about the abilities. The streamlining should have been more about the tests.
Yeah.
The doubling and tripling and the blast and all that stuff. That was good that they streamlined.
Yeah, I'm not sad to see doubling and tripling going. That was always annoying.
I mean, it was cool when we first started, but after a while, it was just
because then you got like, okay, is that double? Okay, what's double of this and what's triple of that? And you're like, it's just the extra time to try to do some math.
The best thing is we went from playing the original game, which was good, and we enjoyed it, and it was fun, and we played the way it was supposed to be. We house ruled a little bit, but I think we're going to be house ruling no matter what. But no matter how good the game is, house rules, everyone's got their thing. But we played the beta rules, we played many games, and at no point did we need to print out a cheat sheet. Well, cheat sheets. We used to have, whether it was 3 or 4 sheets,
Right.
that each person had, and you were constantly going back to it. Constantly. And the betas...
Yeah, especially
thus
since
far,
some were doubles mattered, and sometimes only doubles or triples, and yeah, you had to look it up every time.
and
Right.
we just jumped into these betas both feet, and we were not looking at reference material. We were not looking at the cheat sheets, and it was so mission accomplished. There, they've done the streamlining that I think they needed to do. So what? We still have abilities. Well, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some ones that I don't think are useful, but like Logistic and Strategist, both of those I think you could get rid of pretty easily. But
And did you notice that the fonts were different for those? So it seemed like, quick, put this one in. That's what it seemed like to me.
it's like whoever was finishing up was just like, these are my favorite. I'm going to put them in when nobody notices.
Do you think if there's someone listening here from the rules committee or from say like Jake himself listening, he's sitting in his recliner, he's smoking his pipe, martini in one hand,
Jacket.
and do you think he's listening, and then the pipe falls out of his mouth? He goes, "Guys, no, don't trash talk that. That's my idea. Just wait. Don't just give it a chance." Like, do you think there's someone there just like I've added?
Well, obviously, because they yelled at Coach on his YouTube channel.
There's great things. Just like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Just don't trash talk it yet. Don't sabotage. Don't scuttle the boat yet. You just hang with us. Like, do you think there's that, like, no.
Yeah.
There's got to be.
Yeah,
Well,
for
you
sure.
know what? Tough crap, man. We're gonna tell it like it is, man. We have the sword of cutting through BS.
I guess so.
Well, no, but you think about it, and there are certain rules that I love, and then you could say, well, I can't stand that rule, but I love this rule.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're going to say, why do I love the Forge Fathers? I just don't know. I'm drawn to them. And you might say, like you guys hate the Marauders for some reason. I don't know, but Andrew and Eric are like, that's it. They refuse to play other armies, So it's, some people like chocolate, some people like vanilla.
You can't please everyone, and as long as you please most people, or at least have something for everyone, it's all good.
Yeah. Like, you're going to love 95% of the game, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good ratio.
Exactly. It's never going to be perfect because my perfect's different than your perfect. So
Right. You're recording right now?
now I am again.
Oh, well then, how come I never got my check?
That's right. That was your performance fee. It's in the mail. Hold your breath.
You told me that you and Jack make $10,000 every podcast, and I was supposed to get a piece of that. I have still my third time on, man. I didn't get nothing.
It's true.
Well,
it's in the mail. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You're coming from Canada. It takes a while.
Yeah, and Ronnie takes a long time to write his, because we get personal checks from him. So then we have to wait for his check. Then we have to write you one. So it's a whole thing.
And listen, I don't want none of that Canadian play money. I want real American dollars. All right. None of that.
Right now that money's worth nothing. You'd be owing us money. It's worth.
I should probably take all my debt. You're more than welcome to.
Yeah. Do you think we should split it? Like, should we just start again and say, and now for the second half? Or...
It saves us from doing another show. I hate doing this bullshit. We could just split this up into 3. You don't need to bother me.
6 10-minute episodes.
Yeah, I don't need to hear your whining and crying about, we got to record. Why do we have no content? Why do you not answer my phone calls? I'll just,
Oh, you're back, Coach? Oh, okay.
I was very astounded because the curtain was drawn back and there was no wizard. So I was seeing what goes on behind the curtain in the Deadzone podcast universe here.
Yeah,
That's
so
right. He's always mean to me.
Erupted just as you returned.
Jack is the diva, and
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think that's pretty obvious.
Let's not take that away from there. We can point fingers later.
You have been listening to the Deadzone Podcast. And now, a word from the fine folks at Vinland Old Time Radio.
Thank you for listening to Deadzone the Podcast. And now a word from Captain Courage on Vinland Old Time Radio.
That's some fine writing on Vinland Old Time Radio. Counting the funnies on all my fingers.
VinlandOldTimeRadio.podbean.com